Welcome to Really Raha, the podcast for coaches and creators who want to build luxury brands without burning out. I'm Raha, business energetics coach, PhD student, and sponsored skateboarder. I went from serving tables and hustling every client to building six-figure systems and offers that sell in my sleep. Here we talk all things raw when it comes to business strategy, nervous system regulation, and stepping into your goddess frequency with tangible, actionable steps to help you scale to consistent 10K plus months. If you're here, you know freedom is your birthright. Let's get into it. Hi, welcome back to the Really Raha podcast. If you have not seen last week's episode yet, watch it after this one. It's so good. I brought my coach on and we had such an incredible conversation. And this episode is going to be a nice little solo jam. I want to walk you through the behind the scenes of my week because it feels like a season goes by every single week. And I want to focus this episode on the tech behind your sales process, like what systems you need to have in place from the moment someone books the call to getting on the actual call with you. So we're going to talk about that today so that you can make sure that you have all the systems you need in place to increase show rate, to increase close rate. So I'm excited. First off, I just want to connect with you and ground with you and just slow everything down together just for a few moments. Feeling called to just take some deep breaths with you. Doesn't have to be a big thing, just wherever you are. If you're driving, if you're at home, just 3 grounding breaths where all of your focus is in the breath. Let's take another one. And then one more. Amazing. It's crazy how much a difference 3 breaths makes. So I just want to walk you through what Tuesdays look like for me. So Tuesday is meal prep day with me and my partner. So every Tuesday we go to the farmer's market. This is going to be changing because we're going to be moving to Carlsbad in a couple weeks and we don't know the farmer's market schedule there. So we have one day a week that we dedicate to meal prepping. We've been doing this for 2 to 3 years now, where one day a week we meal prep so that we essentially just like batching your content. Yeah, you can make the healthiest meals 3 times a day, high quality ingredients, hitting all the nutrients, just like content. You can make a high quality post 3 times a day, but then you really don't have much time in your day. Then you are just shifting in and out of energy. But when you take one full flow to knock something out so that you can look out for your future self, that's why we love meal prepping. It really puts us in that energy of being able to do that and making sure that we have our energy for me coaching, for us skating. So every Tuesday's meal prep day. Additionally, I have a call booked today, discovery call, and I have 3 calls booked tomorrow, all to qualify revenue room. And I also have 2 client calls today, client call tomorrow, my coach call today, and then skateboarding in between. So behind the scenes, that's what's on my calendar today. And, one of my intentions for this chapter, and you've heard me mention this, ever since I had my in-person VIP day with my coach, was to do more in-person networking, to focus more on being in rooms with well-resourced people who have money, people who take care of themselves, people who really embody this high frequency. And ask and you shall receive, because we know how fast the universe works. I set the intention with my coach. I wanted to put myself in more of these rooms, which were in San Diego County. Universe is like, here, you're moving there now. And then I've just been focusing on, okay, how can I get in these rooms? How can I get in these rooms? Went to an incredible party with one of my friends, networked, and I was in my back-to-back breathwork and acupuncture class, which I do every Sunday. And then I had a download drop-in that aligned with this intention And oh my God, it's so good. So good. I brought in a vision of what I see for this podcast and the guests that I would be bringing on here and the collaborations and the relationships that I would have. And it's crazy because, in the first 2 years of my business, it was just focusing on building and building a social media presence. And here we are 2 years in, and now I'm focusing on networking and trading and collaborations and affiliates and referrals. Whereas a lot of people, they might have swapped it. But for me, I went all in on the social media and online aspect to have the freedom in my business on the front end because of how much I prioritize skating and, having time to study in my PhD program. It was a lot easier for me to do that and scale it with my online process. And now that systems are in place, business is doing its thing, I'm leaning into in-person events and scaling the business that way. So it's really exciting. It's really exciting. And, the lesson here is what you focus on, what your intention is, just stay in that energy. That's all I did. I tell this to my clients every day. Just stay in the energy of what you're manifesting. Just stay there. And this isn't fake it till you make it. This is, I am choosing to vibrate at the frequency of the version of me that has this thing. And we talk about the importance of if you want to bring in more freedom, if you want to bring in well-resourced clients, if you want to bring in energy of abundance, if we are not vibrating in that frequency right now, if we're vibrating in hustle, if we're vibrating on the fire frequency, if we're in scarcity, just moving, external, trying to move the needle forward, it's going to be a mismatch. It's not going to tune on the radio frequency of the version of you that has those things. Because in order to have those things, we need to shift our current vibration to be at that vibration. And it's humbling how much we forget that. Even as these manifestations of the in-person opportunities have been starting to flow in for me these past couple weeks, even then I'm like, wow, it's crazy how much we forget that. We forget. So we need those reminders. We need to write them down. We need to bookmark them. And I'm reminding you that if you're not vibrating at the energetic frequency of what you are wanting to quantum leap in, the version of you, it simply will not become in fruition in this reality. So how can I shift my frequency to meet her now, even if I don't have the external? Because we're sitting here waiting on the external. Okay, I'll do that when I have the money. Okay, I'll do that when I have the clients, when I have the thing. But that's not how it works. You get the thing when you vibrate at the frequency first. It's like a chicken or an egg. It's like when people, get on your calls or they get on my calls and they say, yeah, this sounds amazing, but when I get the clients first, when I get the money first, then I'll do it. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So that's why reframing is so important, to reframe that limiting belief, because it is a limiting belief to think that. But I want to take some time today and talk to you about the sales process and system, the technology behind what gets me such high show rates and getting the person in front of me on my discovery call to know about me, to learn about me before they even get on the call, which increases chance of closing too. So first thing I'll say is, especially in the beginning and middle part of your business when you don't necessarily have too many calls in the calendar, the name of the game is how can I present as little resistance as possible on the very top to just get them to the next step, just get them to the call. So this means not sending them to a Calendly booking link because that's resistance. How many people are you noticing falling off the calendar? How many people are you noticing not filling out the questions, not filling out the calendar, and not responding to you when you send it to them in the DMs? So this is something we still do just because it's incredible how much less resistance you get at the top because people have resistance. So when you book someone, instead of sending them a booking link, after you get the yes to the Zoom, present one time and manually book them. This spikes authority, this spikes exclusivity by saying, okay, I've got an opening at blank on this day, PST. How does that work for you? Great. If that doesn't work, then you can present another time or another 2 times. But generally, because of the energy that gives off of, oh, she's got one time, which may be true. For me, it is true because I have skateboarding, I have my school, I have all these other things, I have discovery calls. It's like, yeah, this is the time that I have. And then if not, okay, we'll talk about it. Same with you. Let yourself have a full life where you schedule your personal life in there. Let people see that you have that freedom and the business and the freedom. So once you book that call, then you send them the application, which will be on a pre-call resources page. So this is a landing page that you send to them that has a short little thank you video on the top of saying like, I'm so excited you booked this call. Here's what to expect. Show up 5 minutes early, no distractions, good Wi-Fi. So you're prepping them for the call itself very briefly at the top of the page. And then you're attaching a resource. This is a video that you want them to watch that speaks directly to this avatar so that by the time they get on the call with you, they have already seen what you're about, what you do, what your offer is. This is perfect for putting a masterclass episode here, a YouTube video, a podcast episode. This is really important because then when they get on the call with you, they already know who you are. Even if you don't know them, they know who you are. And it just makes it that much easier for resistance on the call. It makes it that much easier for them to actually show up. So it increases show rate and it makes it a lot easier to trust. So you have a higher chance of signing that client. So we want to have some sort of resource here and you want to make sure that it speaks to that avatar because you're going to notice you might have different avatars coming in. Make multiple landing pages that have different videos on there. You know, my main one has my masterclass on there, but some people, they've already seen it. So then I make another landing page that has different podcast episodes on there of what is the tangible problem that this person had in the DMs with me and what long form content do I have that shows them how to solve it, that shows them that I'm the one to help them solve it, that positions you as the expert. So position your pre-call resources landing pages to speak to the avatar that's coming in. That pre-call resource page can go in 3 places. So we want to have it as a URL direct from Calendly. So when they book the call, then Calendly sends them an email. Google Calendar sends them an email from someone link in bio. If they're going in there and booking it themselves, it's going to redirect them to that landing page. But we still want to go back in the DMs and say, awesome, did you get the invite? Confirm it. Great. Here's a link. It's got some videos. It's got some steps, some questions to answer so that I can be best prepared for our call. So this can also be in the email. So setting up, here's another system. When someone books a call in Calendly, zap the person's contact who booked a call. For me, I use Kajabi. I teach all my clients Kajabi to automatically add that person as a contact in Kajabi and then get a booked call email. And it has also that URL in there of the pre-call resources. So having this system in place is so important because if we don't have Calendly talking with Kajabi, well, then all these people booking calls are not saving into our contacts. We have no way to nurture them, no way to warm them up, especially if the call is like 2 days out. We want to have some sort of sequence, some sort of nurturing trust funnel that shows testimonials, that shows proof. That way, when they get on the call, they feel even more sure that, hey, this can work for me. which is generally the limiting beliefs of what comes up with someone at this point in the funnel. So that pre-call resources page has brief thank you video, has a resource, it has testimonials, and it shows people that it's possible. And when they have this right before they come in, we want to triage them 24 hours before the call. So regardless of how they came in, 24 hours before the call, we go back in the DMs, we review the application, the questions they answered, and we see if they even answer the questions. A lot of the times you send them the pre-call page or they get it in the email, whatever it is, people still don't answer the questions. So we say, hey, can you take a moment to answer the questions so that I can be best prepared for our call? And generally, that's when they answer. We do not want to skip sending people these questions, especially because there's a very important question in there that avoids a partner objection of, can you make a decision without your partner? No, or yes, I will bring them on the call. So they either don't have a partner or they're bringing them on, or they know how to make the decisions without the partner. But we don't want any surprises. This is to minimize surprises. This is so that you can be in your energy, you can be in detachment, and you can be completely unbothered while you're on the call to know, like, okay, I can just fully be here for this person, be detached from the outcome, know the transformation that my container provides, and knowing that they already know you by the time they got on the call. And the reason being too is, like, we look at the buyer's journey, and we've talked about this before, but in the past, they would say that the buyer needs about 20 to 25 touch points before they become your client. And we're looking at this with more of hours now, is how many hours in a room do they need with you before they see you and purchase from you? And it's generally about 5 to 7 hours, depending on how much content they consume from your Instagram. But think about it, it's like 90 seconds on Instagram. So how many 90-second pieces of content do they need to consume to hit those 5 hours? Some people will just binge your content. Do you have content that's bingeable that people can do that? This is also why we want to take people to long form content, because then it's just, okay, a few more videos, longer episodes, longer YouTubes. So the more long form content that we put in front of them at the top of the funnel, whether that's a nurture sequence, whether it's a testimonial video, the higher the show rate and the close rate is, the higher the chance that they're going to sign to become your client because they have more proof in front of them. And the number one question at the top of the funnel from their perspective is, will this work for me? So this is why testimonials are so important to just put in front of them everywhere. Client stories, case studies, putting it on that pre-call resource page, and putting it in that call booked email, whatever that sequence looks like for you. So I wanted to keep this episode short and brief for you so that you're not skipping out on the tech behind what happens when you book someone a call or they automatically book it in link in bio. We can't skip the questions. We can't skip putting long form resources in front of them. We can't skip confirming that they went through it and triaging them and confirming the call. These are all things we need to do so that we're not in this unpredictability, winging it part of our business anymore. You're in a place now where you need more structure. You need more predictability. You don't want to feel like every client came in from luck. You want a rinse and repeatable process, one that you know that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. So this is what I wanted to give you with. I wanted to remind you that we are in the last couple of weeks of filling up Revenue Room. And it is incredible that I can say this, but 100% of the students inside Revenue Room, the heart-led coaches, educators, practitioners that are invited inside, have already made thousands of dollars each. One of them just got her ROI by being in the program for 10 days, the container. 10 days. She's already signed 2 pay in full clients using the skills that we taught her in the DMs, the authority, the leadership. So if I thought you would be any different, I would not even invite you inside. So I can't even emphasize to you that if you come in and I feel like it's not an aligned fit, I will tell you. I will give you something and send you off with. I will refer you somewhere else or help you with a roadmap. But I'm not going to invite someone in that I feel like I can't help, that I feel like can't see the same success. And just a reminder, there's a guarantee in here. So if you are actively booking calls, you do have a guarantee that if you don't get your ROI in the time that you're in revenue room, you stay until you do, up to a year. So keep that in mind, that I take all of these things into consideration, that our method works. We show you the sales process. We teach you every point of this funnel so that you have a solid sequence, a solid seamless strategy of manually booking and what goes on the page and how do I do this Zapier, all this. So that's just a portion. The tracking, because this goes with the tracking as well. We give you our spreadsheets. We give you our DM framework, our Miros, where we have the entire flow, our sales call Miro that I'm building right now. Our clients have access to all of this. And in beta, they're in WhatsApp with us. So they're sending us screenshots of their DM convos and everything along the way. But that's only for beta. So this is one of the last chances I will be coming on here and inviting you into beta. If you feel my energy, if you love my vibe, if you trust me in my leadership and the results that I've gotten my clients, and when I say that there's a 100% success rate in revenue room right now. And if I thought that you would be any different, I would not extend the invitation to you because I like having a 100% success rate. The perfectionist in me is like, yep, we're going to keep this party going. I love delivering results for my clients. So I'm not going to say yes to you out of scarcity. I don't need to say yes to you just to say yes to you. And this is also the leadership that I'm going to teach you how to step into, that detachment of you don't need anyone. You know the value of your offer. You know the transformation is inevitable. This is what I teach you, how to hold that. I know that the transformation inside revenue room is inevitable. And I simply want to invite the people I know that align with my method because I know they will get results. Just get on a call. Just apply. It literally doesn't hurt and you have everything to gain. I'll drop all the links in the show notes. I'll even drop my free masterclass with the feminine sales method so you can see what my process is about. And I talk about revenue room at the end of it so that you can see what revenue room is about if you haven't been hearing me talk about it all the time. And send me a DM. What hit with this episode? What do you want to hear me talk about in future episodes? I'd be curious to hear. What do you want to learn about? What have you been enjoying? I want to connect with you. And I'm sending you so much love into this Tuesday. I love you so much, and I will see you next week. If this episode resonated with you in any way, if something clicked, expanded, or shifted for you, I'd love for you to share it and tag me on Instagram @RadiantRahoff so I can celebrate your breakthroughs with you. And if you haven't already, subscribe and leave a 5-star review so more high-level coaches like you can find this space. Thank you for being a part of this community. I love you, and I'll see you next Tuesday.